listen to reason? Will you open your eyes?
Ida in Florida, how are you?
Hi, Matt. How you doing?
Good, thanks for waiting.
Hi, Jerry.
Hello, Ida.
I just wanted to say I'm really happy that I got to talk. I'm getting to talk to you. I've been wanting to talk to you for a very long time. I was a Roman Catholic all my life. I'm 35 years old, and you know, I've never felt like I fit in. I always felt really weird going to church. I just, you know, I didn't feel anything, and it was just really weird. So then I started going online. I found you, and I found your show, and because of you, I'm now an atheist.
Wow, thanks.
I want to say thank you so much.
You did the work. We just provided information, but thanks so much for saying so.
You're like the best debater. I watch, you know, your debates here in Tampa, and just many debates you had online. It's like nobody could debate you. It's amazing.
Well, I hope there are still people that can debate me because I like doing it. But thanks so much.
I wanted to ask you one thing though. Like, you know, my daughter, she's 14, and you know, she's open about being an atheist also, like in her school. And ever since, you know, we came out and told people openly, just how do you deal with the negativity? Because the kids in her school and people that I tell, it's like, you know, they're just so negative.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with that?
Do you want to
I
start?
mean, what do you? It's like there's not too many atheists around here, but they're just really negative. You know, the stuff that they say. It's like what do you suggest? How do you deal with people like that?
Well, Ida, the first thing that I do is I've kind of created a niche for myself in that I just really try to love everyone out of my way. And that may sound a little odd to say it that way, but because they expect a certain amount of a fight and they're looking for a fight, I really just try to show them as much love as possible. Now, that's kind of easy for me because that's my thing. That's my personality, is I love truth and I love people. Not everybody is wired the same way. I honestly had to avoid certain situations. When I knew that there was going to be a fight, I can remember one example where I desperately needed some stamps, and I pulled up to our little post office. I'm from a town of 10,000. I started to walk in. I saw who was in there, and I just turned around and walked out, and quite honestly, the bill was late because I didn't have a stamp, because I just wasn't in the mood for the fight that day. Mm-hmm. But what we've learned through recovering from religion is that for everything that you have to remove yourself from as you leave the religious community, you have to find something to replace that. And so with the power of the internet, and there may actually be more people out there than what you're aware of at this moment, I would do everything I could to connect. Do everything you can to find those people, and probably just being on this show is going to connect you with people that you never knew were in your area. The community has saved my life. Honestly, the community has saved my life.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with Jerry. My approach probably isn't. I know my approach isn't identical to his, and it's, you know, every situation is going to be a little bit different. Obviously, I don't know exactly what you're going through. What I do know is that every time I hear from somebody who says I'm the only atheist in my area, inevitably they're really, really wrong. And one of the things we tried to do over at Iron Chariots, there's a list of organizations, and we probably need to do a better job of building that up. So that you can find people to actually socialize and interact with, so that you know you're not alone, because building a community and working with the community is critical. But I don't know how much negativity I ran into, but when I do, I tend to try and be kind of straightforward and analytical about it. And by that I mean, okay, I understand that, you know, if it's a relationship that existed before, where I'm losing a friend, where somebody's disconnecting from me, I have to own the fact that of the two of us, I'm the one whose position has changed, and that is my responsibility, and I will own up to that. And if they no longer want to associate with me, that's one thing. But if they want to abuse me, that is something that I don't have to take at all. And then in response to that, my thing is, okay, what really changed about me? What is it about me that is different now from before that is causing you to react in such a hostile, negative way? Because as far as I can tell, it's the fact that I don't believe the same thing that you believe, and in particular, I don't believe this claim, which you don't seem to be able to prove anyway. Why would you be so offended that I just don't agree with you on this? Now, I can understand, the offense, especially if, in my position, where I not only don't agree with them, I think they're wrong. I think that that these God claims are delusional, and I understand that offends and bothers people. And so, I own up to that. I can't imagine. I mean, I did this in my 30s. I can't imagine being a 14-year-old kid and being openly atheist in the face of hostility. I know what I was like at 14.
Yeah.
I didn't have the balls to talk about my inner self at 14, even if I had been an atheist. And there were plenty of other subjects that I was probably kind of closeted about, for lack of a better term. So kudos to your daughter for actually doing that. The one thing is that by being yourself, you have to be comfortable with the fact that being yourself is going to be a reward unto itself.
That's right.
And that I didn't end any relationship that ended over my atheism. There's not a single individual with whom I used to have a relationship that I don't now where I ended the relationship. They all ended the relationship, and that's on their head.
That's right.
I did not do anything that would have or should have ended a relationship.
And you have to be honest with yourself about these relationships and how important they really are. Obviously, when you're going through this situation, everything is magnified. All of your emotions are on high alert. When things started coming out about me, I went through, I guess I had about 200 friends on Facebook at that time. I went through and could only find 8 people that I really, really cared about talking to about this issue. So, I think you're exactly right.
Yeah,
being yourself is your own reward.
There's an aspect of that too, which is if the only way I can get these people to like me and care about me is to be something I'm not, do I really want those people? I mean, people ask all the time, should I come out? And we had a little conversation about this morning after Jerry's talk. And my answer has been, well, it depends. Definitely if you think your life or livelihood or your happiness in general is just going to suffer from it, then by all means don't. Let the rest of us who are out continue to work to build a safer world where you can come out, where we can all be out. But what I do say is that if you're considering coming out, be sure that you're ready to face the consequences of that, that you're comfortable knowing, hey, I'm going to sever. There are relationships that are going to be severed because of this change, and it's not my fault, and I'm okay with that because I'd rather surround myself with people who like me for me.
That's right. It's one of the reasons, once again, to reiterate that the community is so important.
Yep.
And the community is there, especially for this 14-year-old atheist. There's a huge community for her. You have to accept, as hard as it is to accept, that this is going to carry with it waves and waves of negativity. That's just a fact. There's no secret way of doing this where everybody in the world's going to love the fact that you no longer believe this mythology.
Yeah, and the last point I'll make on this, because you're talking about dealing with the negativity, is, and there's just no way to say this without really irritating some people. By and large, with a handful of exceptions, I am not mad at religious people for their reactions to atheism or me or anything else. Pity probably isn't the right word, but it's close, because they are very much victims of their religion. Yes. The religious ideas have poisoned their ability. It's what is responsible for the damage in the relationship.
That's right.
It's partly because it portrays a false sense of love. That's right. No doubt, Jerry is one of the sweetest men that I've ever met in my life. Genuinely loves people. It's obvious. We were fast friends right off the bat. I also care about people, maybe not necessarily to the extent that Jerry does. But what I care about is that people treat each other in a way that is based on reality, that is based on, let's figure out exactly whether or not every two people should be in any kind of relationship. Right. And so religion gives this false idea that, we're all brothers and sisters, we should all love each other, we should all get along. There's going to be conflicts. There's going to be two people who just aren't going to get along, and so religion's trying to mend a relationship that is perhaps unmendable, and it gives people a false idea about what it means to love, what it means to interact with people, and then when you find out that they no longer believe what you believe, what happened to that love? Wait, weren't you supposed to keep loving me?
That's right.
Actually, she's sitting right here next to me. She's listening to you, and you know, she said ever since she came out, she's been kind of bullied. Like, I see kids writing nasty messages to her on Facebook, or, you know, she tells me what kids tell her in school, and it's really sad, you know. But I tell you...
it's not just sad, you have to take action.
That's right.
You have to take action. You have to contact the school administrators. You can contact the Secular Student Alliance. You can contact the ACLU. You can contact the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Bullying is not to be tolerated at all. Mistreating kids are going to snipe at each other, and there are people, you know, there are people who are always going to hate me, and I'm okay with that because they're the haters. They're the people who are less than by definition of hating.
Do you have kids, like any of you, like in school, or?
I don't have kids in school, and well, your son's 20.
My son, he's fortunate in the fact that instead of being a 14-year-old girl, whenever he began to be public about his non-belief, he was already a 16, 17, 18-year-old, very big guy, so he didn't get bullied that way. But it definitely severed relationships, and there was things said about him that obviously were not true and were inappropriate. So there is a certain amount of that is going to be natural within the dynamic of, you know, high school relationships. But as Matt says, the bullying cannot be tolerated. That has to be taken to the authorities. It has to be dealt with.
And there's fallout from that too. That
Sure.
it doesn't solve every problem, but what it does is every individual that actually speaks out makes it easier for everybody else. This is what, for example, Damon Fowler found out. You know, or one of Damon's big questions was just why the hell didn't anybody do anything before I did? Why did I have to bear the entire brunt of this? And as long as we keep succumbing to the bullying tactics that attempt to silence people, then somebody else is going to get bullied, and then somebody else is going to get bullied. Yeah, we've got to take action in that. I know that JT is working on Secular Safe Space as a project for making sure that educators can provide places where kids can go where they know that they're going to be free from this bullying is what it is.
And there's a small piece there, just to add on the end, of turning the other cheek that we've received through our religious backgrounds that is obviously inappropriate in many, many situations. And
Yeah.
this is one of them.
Yeah, I've gone on record, and I apologize, Ida, we're going to have to let you go at this point. I hope we got to the crux of your question.
Yes, thank you guys, and thank you, Matt, for you know, doing such a good job. And you know, it's been such a relief becoming an atheist. It's like the burden, you know, has come off. It's
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know. Your eyes open up to everything, and I don't know. I can't tell you what a relief it is.
I am there with you 100%. And you know, please feel free to contact us again. Let us know what's going on. If things have improved, drop us an email. And if you're looking for contact information for organizations that can help, you can send us an email as well.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's man, it's hard.
It is hard. And that's the part, when I was naive, when I went in the clergy project and I began to receive counsel from people who had already been out for a while, I honestly thought I could figure out a way to make this type of move that wouldn't be damaging. And it's just not there yet. Not in this point in time in our history.
You know what's really sad? The move the other direction,
Yes.
not damaging at all.
Right. It's like a promotion.
You know how rich I could be tomorrow
Sure.
if I flipped
Sure.
and found Jesus?
Right.
I mean, it's a good thing I'm ethical.
You could sell DVDs by the millions.
It would be insane.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, atheist guy does TV show for 6+ years, calling Christians, you know, idiots, and now he's a Christian. Ha ha ha. You said he who shall not be named, which you probably don't know about, got a bunch of press because he got some help from a Christian group, became a Christian for 2 or 3 days, and then went back to being an atheist. So.